Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first quarterfinals of the 2022 Spring Fling Top 8. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined today by Jared Doucette. Say hi, Jared.
Hi, Jared.
Okay, thank you for joining me in the booth today. We have a fun matchup, kind of a classic pre-modern matchup. We have the Survival Elves deck piloted by John Grudzina up against the Sligh deck by Pietro De Sanctis. So I'm going to bring up the deck lists, and you can let us know what you think about this matchup or the decks.
Yeah, two classic and tier one decks, that's for sure. So this should be a good slugfest. Looking forward to it. Well, obviously it's about the elf synergies and getting some card draw going with Wirewood Symbiote and Multani's Acolyte, which is basically our version of the Elvish Visionary kind of draw engine. Obviously, no Glimpse of Nature in this format, but it also has it's a pretty good Tangle Wire deck too because it puts down a bunch of permanents that can slow down the combo decks and it just has a nice toolbox with a survival, so you can find the exact things you need and do some really snapped broken stuff because everything just basically taps for green mana, so and a lot of it, so you could do some really insane survival chains. So I think it's a very good deck, definitely tier one, and the powered by Gaea's Cradle and Survival of the Fittest, two extremely powerful cards.
Okay, I'm still working through audio issues. Now they should be able to hear me on the scene. But yes, they could hear you the whole time. So I'll bring up the Sligh list that Pietro has. And while the Sligh deck, I feel like changes depending on the metagame, this definitely has some differences from what I would consider like the stock Sligh. The standouts being the lava darts, and then which is the main difference. And then I mean, Seal of Fire is there instead of what we normally see as shocks, but that's pretty replaceable difference. So, what is your thoughts about this Sligh list? I know you like a good red deck, Jared.
Yes. So I mean, I like this list a lot. I think the lava dart is definitely going to be very good in this matchup. I think you're going to see it shine, which I think would give this the edge to probably the red deck in this case. But otherwise, I like seeing 20 lands. I like seeing I think the jury's still out on the baubles. I love seeing just 4x of everything, and I really actually like Seal of Fire. You mentioned it as it being kind of just like replaceable, but I think it pairs really well with Seal of Fire. Sorry, with a Curse Scroll, so you can use your mana efficiently in the early turns, and I just think it can just be very good. But the one thing that, and I talked about this with Pietro, is no Sulfur Vortex in this deck, which is interesting. A card that you would definitely see as a staple, at least as a two of in the main deck, and definitely usually the third in the sideboard. To not see that at all is really interesting, and I think could be important to this matchup, depending on just because the Wellwishers out of the Elves could get going. Not that I expect them to live, because there's so much burn in this deck, obviously, and it dies to everything. But it's just like it's something to just kind of take note of in general going forward, probably, that there's no sulfur vortex in this list.
Okay, I'm still kind of trying to mess with my audio issues, so I'm going to let Jared take all the reign. So I'm going to switch over to the match. We're going to jump down. So where we're at here is because the players did play through the Swiss rounds. There are seeded players, so John is the higher seed. We are playing a best of 5.
John starts off with the classic of the basically the bird. It's the forest and the Llanowar Elf. We'll see how Pietro responds, but I don't expect that thing to live very long. Um, Yep. He chose the correct mountains. The Mirage Mountains, definitely one of the best there is. Thinking about this turn one play, Mog Fanatic. Yeah, just take down that Llanowar Elf. Bye bye. You'd almost rather like probably use a Seal of Fire on that, just because the Mog Fanatic can do so much, but also it's just one damage, one mana, just get it done. No second land for John is noteworthy. He was kind of leaning on that. So now we're gonna have to depend on the Quirion Ranger to kind of get double mana in a turn.
Okay,
Oh,
I think they should be able to hear me on the scene now, but my
let's hope.
card fetcher is currently out of commission, so let's see if I can get that. Okay, there we go. I think
Okay.
we should be pretty close to where we need to be, other than this life total for John is, or this game wins for John looks a little awkward. But so Yeah, so the Grim Lavamancer here is something that is going to be very problematic for John because there's not really a clean way for him to remove that, is there?
His own sharpshooter, and hopefully it has haste and from anger, and that's about it. Like otherwise, he's really got or Masticore as well, but um, that's about it. Well, another interesting card that John has in this list is the Windswept Heath, which I'm not really sure what that's doing. It deals some damage, and like he's not fetching a planes, so I'm not really sure if the shuffle is worth it. I've seen him play that before, and I'm always curious as to why he plays that in this list.
Yeah, I mean, it basically is just a forest that makes you take a damage and like thins out your deck a little bit.
Yeah, and I think we've learned that like thinning for the sake of for just thinning is not really worth it too much. But and the shuffle obviously can be worth it, and I'm not sure how he benefits from the shuffle and in this case, or and that one damage could matter, especially in a matchup like this. All right, we just had a little snag in the little snag there, but we see Pietro got up to 3 mana, and we got him a pup and 2 pups,
Two pups.
and we're gonna make it a pack. I can't tell what that last one is. Looks like it's in a glare. But at least 2 pups and a something. But and the Lavamancer gives serve.
Okay.
I really don't know what that card is.
Yeah, I cannot see it. We'll have to wait till it kind of moves to a different section of the playmat before we get to
Yeah.
identify it.
Yeah. For anyone who's new to the pre-modern online play, oh, okay, he moved it. Curse Scroll. Okay, that's another great one. I mean, this looks very commanding lead for for Pietro now. He's kind of just gotten the right amount of mana. He's gotten the removal spells, and John stumbled a little. So see how this goes. But if there are any newbies to the community and you're playing online, make sure your light source is behind your camera if possible. That way you can really reduce glare. I know it's tough with windows and everything and overhead lights, but it does make a difference if you can get a good light source for your opponent. I know a lot of people work pretty hard on to make sure that their things is good, and but sometimes it's unavoidable. But yeah, it's like that one spot right in the middle of his play map. All right, here we go. Let's beat in. Let the beatdowns begin.
Okay. Sorry, I'm tweaking everything on my screen, so I have lost focus. Oh, so I think I have the life totals flipped. So John's at 14. Okay.
Yeah, John should be at 14 now. And he had to pass that last turn with. I mean, I know he wants to use survival, but he had to pass that last turn without being able to do anything on his turn, which is kind of a bummer.
So without the mountain in play, there's not going to be an anger, and I mean, even if Wellwisher came down, it would only be gaining 1 life because that's. I mean, I think
Right.
that's kind of like his best thing to do in game one because the Goblin Sharpshooter I think is in the sideboard for
I
John.
thought there was one. I thought there was one main.
Maybe I was mistaken.
Oh no! You're correct. It's in the sideboard.
Okay.
So yeah, so he does have Masticore main though.
Yeah, but he's not at enough mana to really
Oh
utilize
yeah,
that at
no,
this point. So,
he's nowhere close to using that. That's for sure.
but yeah, this is probably like a matchup, and especially the way that Pietro has his deck built, that um, John is probably not too happy to see this matchup in the quarterfinals. It's
Not at all.
like the lava darts just in the main deck is something that really can just slow down the elf decks. I mean, it gets rid of. I'm trying to think if any of like the important elves even survive it. I don't. I think all of them are 1 toughness. So lava dart's an easy way to get card advantage and really slow John down, which is typically just enough with a deck like Sligh where you're applying pressure to kind of clear the board so you can keep chipping in with a card like Jackal Pup.
Yep, and that's what he's probably going to keep doing. And now he's got the Lavamancer, which is a repeatable source of shock damage, and we'll see what happens. All right, he's got priority. We got the Quirion Ranger. Pitching. Okay. We're going to respond? No? Yeah.
We have a follow from Beautiful Intentions, so welcome and thank you.
Welcome aboard. Hop on top of that Cloud Goat. Let's ride.
Okay, so John is kind of committed, or at least played to the board a little bit. He's got Llanowar Elves and Quirion Ranger, so I think he's trying to set up, and he does have that is a Gaea's Cradle, correct? Yes.
That is a
So,
Cradle, yep.
I mean, if these creatures were to stay on board, then he would have a bunch of mana to work with, which is really kind of what he needs to kind of come back from a situation here. But it looks like Pietro is using his burn spells to get rid of his John's board. So I think these pups are going to continue to serve, and things look pretty bad for John.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to be able to establish a board. Everything just dies to Lavamancer. Everything's going to die to Curse Scroll.
Yeah, like I think how many cards does Pedro have? I mean, he's getting down to the point where Curse Scroll is just a reliable source of damage. So
he's going to be able to scroll and Lavamancer every turn until he runs out of stuff in the graveyard. But it looks like he's got another fetch land that he can put in the yard. He probably has another burn spell in hand. Whatever it's going to take. Like this is not going to. I don't see how John establishes any kind of board at this point.
Yeah, I mean this. I can't even think of like a route to victory that would be present in John's deck.
Mm-hmm.
So we are. I don't know if I've mentioned before, but we are playing a best of 5. So the game 2 will be played without a sideboard. So I think that still kind of leaves like Pietro in a good position because it's almost like he's pre-boarded in this matchup with the lava dart. So
yeah, he really is. Yeah, it's really quite lopsided in that regard, and I think it's gonna be tough for John to. I mean, even in the postpartum, we'll get into it later. Probably is still kind of a struggle for him. Okay, yeah, get in the forest.
So yeah, John has access to 3 mana. Is this like a Yavimaya Granger? This will probably get a mountain. But I mean, I guess that's a speed bump. This might be a point where you can set up an anger, but I don't even know without like having a board. Typically, you need some number of elves in play, and then anger in the graveyard, and then you're getting Priest of Titania, tapping it, and untapping it for a bunch of mana. That's not possible when the board's clear. So
his left card's a bolt. Yeah. Scroll your dude, bolt, or he's just going face. Yeah, he's just dead.
all right,
Upkeep. Yep. Upkeep, curse scroll, then finish him off with the bolt. Yeah, that he. I mean, outside of like having the perfect lava darts, instead of wasting bolts on the creatures, like I don't know how that goes any better for Pietro. I mean, he pretty much had it all. There's no way that John's gonna be able to bounce back from that.
yeah. So as the players shuffle up, we'll stay here since the decks aren't going to change as the players will shuffle up. So, I mean, that seemed kind of like exactly what Pietro wanted things to happen. I mean, he applied early pressure and kept the board clear. Is that something that you think will happen every game, or do you think it's? I guess what's John's route to victory? Because it seems like it's pretty difficult for him to keep anything on the board.
I mean, Pietro's the control. I mean, basically is what it comes down to. Even though red is like the most aggressive deck there is, but he can play the control in this matchup because he does again have the repeatable sources of damage, and everything dies to 2 damage or less. And I mean, John needs to do something nutty and not get disrupted. On turn 1 or 2. He needs that Llanowar Elf to live on turn 1, which is unlikely. Just stuff like that.
Yeah, with the number of spells that Pietro has to interact with the turn 1 elf, it's Seal of Fire, Lightning Bolt, Mog Fanatic, Lava Dart. That's 16 cards, and there still might be more that I'm not thinking of. So there are a lot of cards that Pietro will be able to slow John down. So
yeah, that's 16 cards, and then on turn 2, he also potentially gets Lavamancer and Incinerate. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps adding up, and it's. I would not expect anything to live on after turn 1. I mean, but there could be the hands that you keep as a slide deck that could be like, well, I got Pup, and I got Incinerate, and I got a Ball Lightning and a Fire Blast and 3 mountains. Like that's not a bad hand, but it's not what you want necessarily. So if he keeps a hand like that, and maybe that's gives John the window he needs. They start doing something, especially if he can go turn 2 survival with an activation, then maybe he can start pulling ahead. But it's going to take. I mean, he's going to need to really flood the board to outpace Pietro's removal, especially when his removal like Lava Dart, is basically take out 2 things.
mm-hmm. I mean, he's not going to want to use the second half right away, but
No,
if
but,
on turn 3 or 4, if depending on how many lands he has in hand, he can just use that flashback of Lava Dart.
mm-hmm.
So, is there? I guess just looking ahead to Cyborg Games, is there something really impactful that John has that he's looking forward to, or is it kind of more of the same?
Um,
Because I don't really feel like he has like any like big heavy hitters against the red decks. Like I don't know what you would like how you try
Spectator.
and compare. I mean that doesn't solve the issue though of like his creatures dying. Like I don't know if he just
No.
tries to like bring in a second Caller of the Claw, but even then like it's not like that many creatures are gonna die in one turn. But, like people have talked about a card like Steely Resolve,
Mm-hmm.
though that obviously interacts poorly with cards like Quirion Ranger or Wirewood Symbiote, where you're trying to untap your own creatures and you can't. But I've heard people talk about a card like Steely Resolve to try and combat strategies that are really trying to remove all your creatures, like we see the red deck doing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, what most people would use, let's say, like Engineer Plague, which Steely Resolve does nothing, or
Mhm.
they try to use some other kind of sweeper like Pyroclasm. What this deck really wants is like an absolute law, what I mean, where just everything's pro red in this matchup, but that's a white card and it's hard. I mean, yeah, I guess you could throw planes in if you really needed to, which would make sense with those Windswept Heaths and maybe the Yavimaya Granger, but I don't think playing a 4-mana enchantment is what you want to do. I mean, it's it's just a tough one, especially with 4 lava darts to fight through.
Mhm.
I think Pietro just has this good matchup,
Yeah,
and I mean,
definitely
trying to think
something where
about
it
it.
seems like Pietro's
Oh,
excited to play. I think is just a little hiccup. I think he might be reconnecting, so or he had warned us that there might be some connectivity issues,
it's that
it,
Italian internet.
I think it actually just might be his camera because he didn't actually drop from the whereby call. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, Llanowar Elf, go. Here we go again. What you got? Oh, fetch right away. Fill that yard. All right, still nobody's playing yet. Okay, we're getting a little lag from Pietro again. We know he's got turn 1 play. We just don't know what it is. The suspense, it's gonna die. Something's gonna die. I think it's the lava dart.
it
Okay.
looks like the lava dart's gonna take out the
Yeah.
Llanowar Elves.
Yeah. Yeah. Good card. Okay. Fyndhorn Elf. Okay. All right. There we go. Ooh. You almost wonder if maybe you think about lava darting. I don't know what the rest of Pietro's hand is here, but you got to get rid of the Wirewood Symbiote, right? That has to go first.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Protects all
a
the
flag
elves.
bearer in a sense as like you can
Yeah.
because if you're targeting anything else, you it's just a tempo play then like you'll bounce the elf otherwise. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think Wirewood Symbiote is usually the first target.
Depending on how many lands, like I said, that Pietro has in hand, if he's probably got one more, I think you might consider flashing back this lava dart just to be able to try to deal with these two things. If you could say, put down a pup, kill the symbiote, and kill an elf or something like that, that'd be a hell of a turn too. All right, looks like we got another dart. Can't tell. Yeah, I think it's another lava dart,
Okay,
and then
Mog Fanatic, I
a
believe.
Mog Fanatic. Okay, yep, keeping the board clear.
And I think this is the Yavimaya Granger, so this will get another
Oh,
land. So I wonder
okay.
how often this like is there ever a spot where you just like pay the echo? I don't think so. I was to say like you just want
Um,
a 2/2 body that stays in play to block a creature.
I'm pretty sure John's hoping that his next turn involves survival of the fittest and some
Yep.
dudes. You know. Oh,
Here we got a ball lightning coming into play, so
okay.
we'll do a chunk of damage to the life total,
Yeah.
John.
Oh, he took the 6, so he's gonna pay the echo on this. I would just soak up 2 with that Granger. Maybe he's got a guy's cradle or something like that, and he wants the creature in play. I don't know, but
Yeah, I was gonna say like this seems like a perfect opportunity to block with a Yavimaya Granger. So yep, he's definitely paying the echo cost. So
Okay. Beat down Granger. Here it comes.
okay,
That's definitely not something it's used to doing.
yeah, I'd be like,
It's
but if there's another ball lighting, he's not planning on blocking it. So here we see a
Curse
curse
Scroll,
scroll, and then
Glare,
yeah,
Tangar's Glare.
yeah. I think it's a jackal pup. Yes, jackal
Yeah,
pup.
it's a pup. Okay. Um, I mean, I think that even though it cost him 6 mana, the fact that like the Granger took a lightning bolt is probably not the worst.
It's like the happiest Yavimaya Granger in the world.
Yeah, I mean, if it took it without paying Echo, it'd be even better. But like, I guess I probably would have rather saved the 3 mana. He must have just not had nothing else to do in hand at the time.
So survival of fittest comes down.
Okay.
This is like a board state where I mean like John's at 13 and
Yeah.
he's got a decent amount of mana. This potentially could be something where he kind of can chain survival activations into something he can do. Okay, so that's the
Oh,
anger.
mentioning anger.
I'm guessing
Okay.
this is gonna go get Squee, and then Squee's gonna get discarded. I don't know what the first card you get. I mean, if you have another land, it might just be Deranged Hermit, but
Yeah. Yeah. Deranged Hermit. I mean, smack for 9. Because I mean, Pietro's only at he's only at 15. He's done himself 3 fetch damage plus a couple barbarian ring hits. But also, Pietro is getting close with the curse scroll. The curse scroll and barbarian rings might finish this off pretty quick. That's going to be some reach, and then the pup, swinging in. But you're right. I think a deranged hermit would be pretty good if he does have that 5th mana, especially because they're hasty.
I got life total switched around. All right, there we go.
Yeah, John's setup with these dice has always been very good. I've always liked how he's done that.
Yes, it's definitely very helpful for me when I don't have to, or I have a second source. There have been games where I have to like keep track of my life or the life total on my own, and definitely I can't even do it right now when it's on display. So
Right. Hi, Robin. How you doing? See him in the chat.
mhm.
Mike's in the chat.
I see a lot of the pre-modern regulars. So
Mhm.
hope you guys are doing well. It's been a while since I guess I streamed, but I'm pretty
Um,
excited for the Spring Fling top 8 to conclude and for us to crown a champion. I guess we could kind of talk about a little bit about the players. I mean, if you've been following pre-modern content for a while, you probably have heard of John before. He is typically at the top tables of a lot of the tournaments that he plays in. And while Pietro isn't necessarily an unknown player, I haven't seen him, at least the tournaments that I have hosted or been more involved with, I haven't seen him as much. But I know he's very involved in terms of like the Magic online community, and then I think he's pretty involved in the Italian community.
yeah,
So,
he's come on strong very recently. In the last like 6 months or so, if not more.
all right. Well, we talked about what threat that John was going to get, and I was talking about Deranged Hermit, but it looks like Masticore is what he has selected, and so what Masticore has haste, and it looks like he's just going to try and race the red deck.
That's interesting. I don't know if that's the play I would have gone with because I see. Yeah, I see this getting. I mean, John's at 9. Hmm. Now he's at 7. If between if he's got one burn spell, this is done. Because maybe he doesn't have threshold yet for the barbarian rings. I'm not sure. The barbarian rings also take mana, so. Oh, okay, Mog Fanatic. Oh, I think you should have used that curse scroll before then. There. Okay. Did he have enough?
So what was the card? I mean, like there were lava darts. There was barbarian
Oh, two
ring.
lava. Yep. Okay. Yeah, there's 2 lava darts. There's 2 barbarian rings. So he was at 7. So he plays the fanatic, shoots it at him. Then so that gets him up to the threshold. Sacks the 2, taps the mountains for mana. 2 lava darts to the face, and then the barbarian rings to the face.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Wow,
Well, now with after
gravitas.
a quick 2-0 from Pietro, we do get to look at sideboard and see if something's going on. Uh, okay. Okay. Yes, I still have my sound on here. So I have the Sligh deck up. I mean, not that there needs to be anything. I guess there doesn't really look like anything. There's Phyrexian Furnace, there's Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast, Flaring Pains, Price of Progress, and Overloads. None of those seem very appealing. Are there any cards in the main deck that are like really big underperformers? And I think the
No,
answer to that is no. So I think,
no. Let's just bring it back.
yeah, I
And
think,
just keep
yeah,
shuffling.
yep, I think you're pretty fine with that setup. So now we will look at John, and I imagine a spike feeder comes in. The sharpshooter is, I mean, it's reasonable, but it really is only like it's not that great. Like ball lightning's, I mean, ball lightning doesn't stay in play. Grivelava Mancer is important to get rid of, but like it might just kill the sharpshooter, and Mog fanatics are there. So I don't. I mean, sharpshooter is a little awkward. Maybe it's just bringing another Masticore and kind of hope to have like a big body that you can kind of clock with.
Yeah, the other card I'm looking at is like the orangutan just for curse scroll, which seems pretty narrow, but it's just a one of and you could search it. So like that's not the biggest, that doesn't take too much, space. Like you said, Cauliflower, maybe.
Or what cards do you
I
think
don't
you're
know.
gonna take out for John's? I mean, like Kamahl or maybe Nantuko Vigilante.
Yeah,
Uh,
Vigilante seems I think I would rather if I'm gonna bring in the orangutan, definitely just switch it just for the Vigilante, I think. Just because it's faster, just I think you don't want to try to get it to morph and everything would just be too much to try to get just to take out a curse scroll. Um, I mean, Tangle Wire. I don't know. What do you think? Could that come out? I don't
yeah,
think this
definitely the
is
like because when the
this
red deck's under a Tangle Wire, I guess there are certain well, given that John doesn't have that much to bring in, I don't know if the Tangle Wires are gonna come out, but there are definitely situations where
right.
Tangle Wire is not very good. But there's also situations where like the Elves deck does a very good job of like playing under a Tangle Wire because if you have like one land or you can like untap stuff with Quirion Ranger and Wirewood Symbiote, or just being able to play like one forest and then another one drop, like you're still developing your board while I mean, the red deck still might be able to as well, but the survival deck elves deck operates under Tanglewire pretty well, and so it might just buy him time, like land drops, and like keep his life total a little bit higher, which is kind of what he's looking for in this matchup. So I would expect the
Right.
Tanglewires to stay in, like if they are kind of hit or miss, but I think it's more just because there's not that much that I'm looking to bring in if I'm John. I think it's like the sharpshooter, spike feeder, masticore, or maybe the orangutan, and
Right.
there's a couple cards that I would bring out, and maybe you shave a couple, but I'm not exactly sure. So
I'm going to tell them to just start when they're ready because I
yeah,
think we're ready to go too. Um, Robin, if you're listening, you got to send me a shopping list. I don't know how to shop. Go to the grocery store for a vegan. So if you need any snacks for the next weekend, let me know. Um, just telling you. Yeah, Robin's going to be a house guest for during LobsterCon next weekend.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I will. I guess we could talk about LobsterCon for a bit while the players are shuffling. But it's old school, and it's kind of the first big American pre-modern event. I mean,
Yep.
um, the Madison one was big, but I mean I don't know if big is the right word. It was a respectable showing, but the LobsterCon
Yeah, it's
I
great.
think we capped it. It's like 128 people, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's 7 full rounds. It's going to be with a proper top eight and everything. Yeah, it's a big event. When I was telling people, oh yeah, we got like 130 people coming, they're like, that's a lot of people. I'm like, I know
Yeah.
it is. I know it is. It's going to be a lot to coordinate, and I'm really excited. We got some things squared away. I did a walkthrough with DFB at the venue last week yeah, last week, and everything looks good to go. The guy who runs the place is super like excited to help us out, which is great, and I'm pretty stoked. Also, while I got some people on here, if you're coming to the pre-modern event on Friday, we are running a charity raffle. So you'll be buy raffle tickets. I'm looking for donations for like charity, like raffle prizes. So if anyone's got like kind of a cool like altar or maybe like some cool little thing from like Magic Pass and they want to share it, that'd be great. I know I'd have a couple pieces of like art prints that I'm going to put up for donation that I'm donating to the raffle. But if anyone's got something cool, like, all the money that we raise goes to charity, the Room to Go charity that's there. So just anything that people might have that would be willing to donate, that'd be great. I'm going to send an email out about it too. But I'm just looking for some raffle donations of just like kind of cool stuff. So let me know. You don't even have to let me know. Just bring it, please, if anyone's coming. But
Yeah.
looks like we're about to get ready.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna make my trip out to Boston and play in LobsterCon, so I'm excited. I at one point I was like gonna be testing and try and figure stuff out, but Pietro will have to mute us again. But at this point, I am not that I think I know what deck I'm playing, but I am just gonna bring 75 cards and kind of go with it and not worry about like trying to hit the meta game particularly like effectively. I'm just gonna just go and see how things go.
I think that's a good strategy. Oh, they just switched.
Yep. So players are, I think, refreshing. They're trying to see if that helps with the connectivity issues or the internet connection. So
I think we got rid of Pietro's glare. He just decided to just turn off all his lights.
That's a way to do it. I was gonna say I'm like his playmat looks a little bit different, but I think that's probably what it is. That the lighting just changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to metagame for it either. I mean, 128 people is like the size of like the monthlies we've had, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I expect, I do expect the tier one decks to be there, but I just also expect to see a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things we love about this format is that it's so deep and so many various different archetypes that can all win. So I'm looking forward to see some cool new top table. Anything cool on the top tables would be pretty neat. I mean, I expect to. What's the one deck that I think has really been coming on strong recently is the Blue Green Madness with Survival. I feel like that's been popping up a lot recently.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if part of it is just because like if someone's new to pre-modern, like I feel like that's where they want to go. Though I guess adding survival, I guess, is cost prohibitive for a lot of people, so maybe that's not the reason anymore. But yeah, a lot of people just when they hear about like a format like pre-modern, they're like, oh, can I play Blue Green Madness? And that's always like one of the first decks that they want to play.
Mm-hmm. The mana is still terrible. You just have Yavimaya Coast and City Brass to try to fix your mana. But
well, yeah, I feel like adding survival makes the mana worse. That would be like I think the biggest downside to doing that.
Right, I agree. It would make it tough, because you need so much more green and you need the blue. I mean, a card like Daze is a card you want in that deck, but it's like, does it? I should let John know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if like it seems like they're trying to see if like I think one of them is having video issues. It seems fine on my end. I don't know if they're confirming with us, but yeah, whenever they're ready, they can start.
Yeah, I think that's what I told them. I think Pietro might be having some connection issues. That vaunted Italian internet coming in strong again today.
It's interesting that like John would not be able to see Pietro, but we would, or I would, and presumably you can, because
yeah, I see them both just fine. Pietro sent a photo. Hold on. What's the issue? He says your screen's off.
Well,
he just says.
I mean, that should be fine. I mean, he can play with our screens off. I mean, like as long as he can see John's, that's all he needs.
What's going on?
I guess so. Robin's talking about playing 4 Birds of Paradise in Madness, and I think that would help the mana. But it's kind of like at what point, like, what is the advantage of like having the Madness engine in the survival deck? Kind of like at that point, it almost just seems like just play full English breakfast or something. I don't know.
I don't think it makes any. I don't think it makes it worth it. I think Robin wants to play the version that has, has the ability to get the combo. You know what I mean? That has like one shapeshifter, one trike, and one devour, and I think that has some nice reach potential. But I think there's also just like the value engine of survival of just being able to like, keep pitching root wallas to get more root wallas to get like a bunch of like a small army going, or to be once you hit 4 mana and like then you start getting the end of turn madness in Arrogant Worm, and if you've already got Wonder, like I think that's a big benefit too. I just to have that like kind of like and the toolbox nature of it too. Like at the sideboard, you could throw in Gilded Drake, or you could throw in Uktabi Orangutan, or Waterford Bouncer, a bunch of other things. So I mean, I understand where he's staying with that, but I think there's a couple of different ways to build it.
All right, so we have started game 3. We have John leading with just a fetch land and passing the turn, while Pietro starts with a Seal of Fire. So John now on a second turn looks like a Multani's Acolyte. I guess it could be a Priest of Titania. Yes, the Priest of Titania. So I'm guessing this will not get to John's upkeep, but
no. Yeah, I don't think that's going to live long. And we lost Pietro's. Oh, he's back again. Very strange. You're right. I think it's just like his camera cord is loose. It just keeps like
yeah, I don't like. Given that he's not like dropping the call, I don't know if that's an internet issue. That might just be with his, with his webcam.
Interesting.
Is that I mean, so people who are new to seeing John on camera, he does have a very impressive collection. Is his deck like I think every card that is able to be foil? I think yes. I mean, are his Cradles foil? That would probably be. I mean, he's got Gurus and whatnot, so I guess.
No, his Cradles are foil. Don't worry.
Okay. Are Gurus foil?
No.
Okay.
That's why those mountains, the mountain and the forest, are not.
So technically, those basics could be foiled out, but
I mean, not even his survivals aren't foil. So I mean.
Oh yeah, those like playtest ones. Is that what?
Yeah, I mean that's the only option because I don't think foils were available in Exodus. So
yeah.
But yeah, he does have a very nice collection. I personally am not a fan of the foil, but that's to each their own, I suppose. I will say the old border foils are much better than any of the newfangled ones that are just like an eyesore. But here comes the ball. Ball you.
All right.
Ball lightning just comes into play sideways. Anyone who puts it in normally, I just don't know what you're doing. It should just come into play attacking.
Whenever I play against Flint, he just always his ball lightnings just don't have to sacrifice it on the turn. Like he always just says like go and just has like a tap ball lightning in play. And like I don't know if he's like if it's like a joke for him or if he just forgets. It always seems like it's like that card is good enough on its own. I don't think it needs to like stay in play though. I guess if he forgets to sacrifice it his turn, it would still sacrifice it my turn. So
right, it's always at the next end step, right?
Yeah,
it'll be gone at some point. Does anyone attack twice with the ball lightning? I'd
like
to see someone who's
I
to like skip your end step or like they stifle.
I was to say stifle, but then you also have to stifle it again. You have to stifle it twice because it's.
If anyone has attacked twice with the ball lightning, please let me know. I'd love to see this situation.
We should make like random things. Like attack twice with the same ball lightning. I guess the people would probably like if. Would it count if you like reanimated that same ball lightning from the graveyard? Does that count for the challenge or no?
I don't think so.
No, so it has to stay in play for 2 turns.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the Null Rod. That'll be a good one against the Curse Scroll.
So maybe this is a card that like came in like for Tangle Wire went out and Null Rod went in because it's I mean not that it's bad, but it is more. It's a pretty narrow card. Like I think the only interaction is with like a card like Curse Scroll, right? Out of Pietro's deck, so
yeah, that's it. Unless he brings in Tormod's Crypt, but
with the Phyrexian Furnace, he's protecting his Squee.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't think about that one, but that I guess that makes sense to come in because that is one of the best repeatable sources of damage that the red deck has.
All right, so we got Survival getting activated, Squee is getting discarded, Anger is getting found. So we're kind of setting up shop. That's usually like what the sequences are for the elf deck is getting Squee and then because that provides card advantage and then putting the Anger in the graveyard makes your future turns just so much more explosive because a card like Priest of Titania with haste is very, very powerful.
Yeah, I think this is looking better for John actually. I mean, he's gonna fight through this Lavamancer. He doesn't have a board yet. He doesn't, but also Pietro doesn't have a ton of pressure right now either.
Well, I mean, he does have a Seal of Fire that can answer one of the cards, and then the Grim Lavamancer is also active. There's, I think, 3 cards in the graveyard. So
Mhm.
it's gonna take a while, but I mean, John's life total is reasonable. I mean, he's at
At
12,
12.
though. Depending on what's in Pietro's hand, like if there's like fire blasts and bolts, then he's a lot closer to dead. Because like if there's fire blast and bolt, that's 7 damage. Grim Lavamancer could be 4, and then Seal of
Mhm.
Fire and Barbarian Ring. So like if you just had those 2 cards, then I think the game might just be over.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's what the reach of the red deck is. It's just
Mhm.
impressive. Okay.
We have a
Let's see what we
follow
got.
from Golf Club Ninja. So welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us.
That's a name. Golf Club Ninja. Okay, here we go. Like you said, Priest of Titania with some hastiness. We got 2 green mana, and we're gonna get an untap, and I presume. I think you might want to respond to this, Pietro.
Yeah. So the first activation you can't respond to because it's a mana ability, but the untapping with the
Right.
Quirion Ranger you can.
Yeah, when he does that, when he puts that on the stack, I think I would want to kill that priest. Probably with the seal. Or I mean, the lava man I think is sick. So I think you want to probably use the seal.
Sure.
Yeah, because you want to fill your yard anyway. I don't think you're gonna be hitting threshold because I think this lava man's gonna have to do some work. Okay. Ooh, Wirewood. Okay, he uses it. Do you respond now? I think I might respond even though we give him 2 more mana.
So
Just because.
did Peter did he not respond to the untap
Oh wait,
ability?
he's tapping 1. No, he hasn't untapped it yet. He hasn't
Oh,
even
okay.
activated
Well,
it.
then why is the Quirion Ranger upside down?
I don't know. Maybe he did. Okay, looks like a lightning bolt was. Oh, he's going face. He went face with the lightning bolt and face with the seal.
Oh, so then maybe we're just at one of those type of hands where he's just got enough in his hand. He doesn't really care what John's doing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
if John's at
fire
7,
blast, fire blast there, then lava mancer. That's gonna be it.
okay,
Yep.
well,
I
clean
guess.
clean sweep from the red deck. It just seemed like I don't know. It just seemed like John could never keep anything on the board, and that's
No.
pretty typical of how this matchup I think is going to get played. But especially with those lava darts, just really give I think Pedro the edge, and it just I mean it looked this is like one rare time where the survival else deck did not look that impressive. I mean I won't
No.
say that often because it's a very powerful deck, but it just seemed outclassed in this type of matchup that the red deck has all the tools to get rid of stuff.
Right. I think we see them. I can't imagine that Pietro did any sideboarding, but we see that Null Rod came in, Uktabi came in, Genesis came
Yeah.
in.
Can we unmute the guys now?
Anything else?
Yep.
Okay.
I unmuted you.
Mute us, please.
I unmuted you.
Okay, thanks, John.
Okay.
Sorry?
Can you hear us, Pietro? You can unmute everybody, or John, you can let him know to unmute everyone.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I mean, that was quick and brutal. I mean, I guess we kind of expected that, but I thought maybe John might be able to take a game or two, but it just seemed like you could never keep a creature on the board. And is
Yeah,
this
I mean, I
Yeah,
mulligan the 6 every game.
okay?
I didn't
That hurts
have any
too.
good 7s. And
So is this when we looked at the sideboard? Is the for you, John? Is there a plan that you like? Because it didn't seem like the sideboard was really had this matchup in mind. I don't know if it's just you can't afford to bring in cards, or if there's no good way to fight it, or do you have like a plan that you kind of like, or is it just I have to take out Tangle Wires, which I don't like, or Kamahl because it's too expensive and I'm not going to have a board presence? Is it just kind of scrapping something together, or do you like the sideboard plan you have for burn?
I haven't really thought about this match that much. I really don't think it's this bad.
Okay.
I mean, it's obviously a bad matchup. I think it's a fine plan. I mean, there's probably things I could do to improve it more.
Okay, so it's not something that like you have a specific plan given your sideboard, but you feel like the matchup is winnable. I think the lava darts that Pietro has, I think, definitely help, and especially when you're playing 2 pre-sideboard games, that helps him a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, 4 lava darts is a big improvement for him in the matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Agreed.
So Pietro, do you want to talk about the main deck that you have? Is the lava darts meant to beat decks like elves, or what is the reason for playing lava dart over? I guess it's sulfuric vortex is the card to be played over. What are your thoughts there?
I think both Seal of Fire and Lava Dart are very functional and good role players at what the deck is trying to do, which is like keeping the board in check, and meanwhile they still provide some damage output, and you can keep the cost clear to your ball lightning, because Lava Dart and also Seal of Fire are very good at dealing with opposing. They are both good at dealing with opposing mob fanatics and ball lightning. So you're already ahead in the mirror, for example, and they both allows you to go tap out. While Sulfuric Vortex, it's kind of heavy. I mean, it's a good card for Sligh, of course, but it's kind of heavy and.
Oh, we lost audio from Pietro. I don't know if could he hear us when he drops like this, John? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, I saw it happen a few times in the match, so okay.
Because the deck is already good at dealing with controls, so you just want to deal with the small critters and finish the job done.
Cool.
Okay.
So and also by removing Sulfuric Vortex, I lowered a lot the mana curve of every spell in the deck. So everything costs 1 besides Incinerate and Ball Lightning and Fire Blast. That it's of course cheap, like for free. So it gave me a lot of flexibility with my sideboard plan versus a lot of the deck in the field. Because when you're playing 8 rounds, you want to be flexible with big part of the field. It's not about targeting only one deck, but just being like, for example, Phyrexian Furnace. It's not super shining. It's great versus survival decks. Not so great versus reanimator decks, but still fine. And it kind of gives me the flexibility to exchange with the Jackal Pulp in the like when it's completely dead or very bad to draw it. So that was about I built the deck in this way with the 75 in my mind. It's not only about having Lava Dart and Seal of Fire main deck. Am I talking too much?
No, that's fine.
Good.
I was to say, someone asked because you added a card like Lava Dart and you get better against decks like Elves in the mirror. Does it hurt your matchup against like Control? Do you feel like you're a little bit worse off against those decks?
Lava Dart is actually great also versus land tax, because sometimes it allows you to go like drop, then like cast the Lava Dart targeting then and sacking, so you keep your land count low, and then you finish the job somehow. So you don't. Well, it doesn't always work, but sometimes it works. And it's also very good at targeting your own Jackal Pup in order to play around out of Druids.
Okay.
It has several purposes, and it's very good also versus Quirion Dryad, and that's the case also for Seal of Fire, especially Seal of Fire. So it's very flexible. Yes, of course, versus control decks, I will just replace Lava Dart with, I don't know, Price of Progress or the next best card that I think I have in the sideboard, which in the worst case is always going to be Phyrexian Furnace, for example.
Okay, I'm just checking out chat to see if they had any questions. Oh, John, people were wondering, since you have a couple copies of Windswept Heath, and obviously it doesn't get anything beyond a forest, is there a reason? Is it just to thin out the deck? Or I guess what is the advantage to have Windswept Heath?
Yeah, I mean, it's just for deck thinning. I mean, the deck is can function a very small number of lands.
Okay, I'll ask this. Is it because you don't own 2 extra Guru Forests? Is that the real reason? Is that influencing your decision at all? I don't know. You don't need to answer that.
My decision. I would still be playing some number of Windswept Heath. I actually think 7 forests is better than 9.
Okay.
I think I could actually probably go down to 6 forests if I really wanted to. I think 9 is definitely wrong.
Okay.
There's no way that's possibly right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just fun to poke fun at you because obviously you have a very, very impressive collection, and I think anytime you play on camera, someone notices or makes a comment of it. So I'll get my jabs in when I can.
Yes, I did stop at 7-4. We will eventually get them.
Gotcha. Nice.
All right, I guess players, do you have anything that you want to add either about the matchup or your Spring Fling experience so far, or other than that, I think we're pretty close to being able to wrap things up.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, for you, to you two for organizing everything, because it's always very cool, and I know how much it takes to be behind everything. And I am very honored to have played versus John, and that's it. Hello to everybody. That's it. Hope
Right.
I had fun.
Excellent.
Thanks, and good games.
Right.
Thank you.
Uh,
Take care, guys.
Yep, we'll let the players go, and then Jared and I will wrap things up. So, congratulations, Pietro, and job well done, John. Sorry that you had to go out in this fashion, but I'm sure we will see you in a top 8 in the near future. So,
Yep.
all right,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I guess I should just stay on a scene that I have my audio fixed, because if I go to my stream ending, it's going to leave. So I will bring up. I might not have it on that one either. I'll bring up the top 8 bracket real quick. Okay, yes, I do still have my audio on here. So we did just see the matchup between Sligh and Survival Elves. So the other matchups that we will have upcoming for this quarterfinals, we have Anton Glanz on the Rock against Sven Lutz with Mono Blue Stifle Knot. Then we have Niels Hakon Delphin with the Green White Enchantress up against Tom Matelski with the Devourer combo. And then on the other side, we have Michael Simpson with Red Green Goblins, Jared, not Elves, Red Green Goblins.
Yes.
And then Connor Abbott Brown, which I think he has kind of everyone's heart with his Turtle Splash deck, the wacky combo deck that he has invented and tuned. And he's actually done, I think, consistently pretty well with. So it will be interesting to see that one in action. I think that's something I'm looking forward to seeing go off. It might be at the cost of one of my favorite decks of Goblins, but it will be fun to see that one in action. Is there any of the other quarterfinals that you're looking forward to seeing, Jared?
I think they're all sweet matchups. Like really, like this top 8 is fantastic as far as representation. The only thing it doesn't have is probably like the blue-white control deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as like the top tier, and you got a couple of like some good combo decks in the Devourer and also the whatchamacallit, the Turtle Splash, which is not not like well known by any means, but it definitely has potential and it can win games because it definitely is a little weird and people are maybe not be used to it. But I think they're all going to be kind of fun to watch, and I look forward to seeing them.
Okay. So I will let everyone know we are still kind of finalizing the scheduling for this, the other quarterfinal matches, and I know I personally have a lot going on in the upcoming week since I'll be gone at LobsterCon. So it might be, I think we're looking at Tuesday having a match, and then beyond that, I think the next one we have scheduled is like Sunday the 15th. So it might be a while before we're finishing up the quarterfinals and then moving on to the semis, but we will get there eventually, and I plan to stream all the matches. So there will be a lot more exciting pre-modern content for you to consume if you're a fan. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. And we will hope to see you soon. Thanks, Jared, for joining me in the booth. You got to see.
Like and subscribe. Use your Prime sub.
Yes.
Don't forget to use your Prime sub.
All right.
All you Amazon Primers that are giving, let Jeff Bezos keep $5 every single month. Use it right here. So.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We will call that a wrap, but we will hope to see you for the other quarterfinal matches for the Spring Fling Top 8. But until next time, take care.
Take care. Say bye.